What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Save the Game Media. My name is Kevin, and today we are going to take a look at Soccer Story. But I'm not alone for this review. I am joined by Lockleth from our friends at Carpool Gaming. Lockleth, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, recovering from dinner, but other than that, I'm good. How are you?
I am great. I'm really excited to talk to you about Soccer Story. As I was saying, I just did a 3 hour long review for God of War Ragnarok. So this will be a good change of pace. Very different games.
Completely different.
Before we do get started, though, I do want to give a big shout out to No More Robots and Panic Barn for providing us with a code for review. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And I had a great time playing the game. But Lockleth, I want your overall thoughts about Soccer Story first. For anyone worried, this isn't going, no spoilers. We're just going to discuss the game. So, what are your overall thoughts about Soccer Story?
So I enjoyed the game overall. I did not finish it,
Hmm.
but I do plan on finishing it.
Okay.
I this is my first sport game story.
Hmm.
Like there's golf story, there's I guess sports story that's
Sports
coming
story,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, so this is like my first kind of glimpse into something like that. So this is my first this version game and I played it on Switch and it also ran fairly well. There were a few things it dropped a few times, but other than that, I mean, it played well. The art style was really nice. So
Mhm.
overall positive. Um but there were some difficulties.
We will get into the
Yeah.
specifics, gameplay elements and everything. So I was really excited for this. You know that I messaged you. We were both very excited for soccer. So I was like, okay, I love soccer. World Cup's going on. This is like the perfect time to drop this type of game, in my opinion. And it was like open world RPG indie game where you like have a magic soccer ball. And I like the game, but I can't help but feel disappointed about my overall experience because I think there are a lot of missed opportunities here. And
Mm.
a lot of that comes down to I don't think the gameplay is as solid as it probably should be for this type of experience for what they wanted to do throughout the game. I think they needed to tighten it up and ultimately, it's a little repetitive. You basically do the same thing 4 times in the same like, there isn't a lot of variety in the game, and I understand it's an indie game, they have budget restrictions, but it does impact the experience, of the game. So, how did you find the overall gameplay of Soccer Story?
So, number 1, you're obviously playing soccer matches.
Mhm.
Very first match, and you kinda told me this too, because you started the game before I did, uh, but I had to put the difficulty to easy because I could not beat the first
Mhm.
literal group of toddlers you're up against in the first match. It was so difficult. And, I'm not one to really play, like, FIFA either.
Yeah.
So, this is kind of new for me to play, like, a sports-related game. That's definitely very new for me. But I can understand the repetitiveness that you're talking about because you are kind of doing similar things. I mean, you can automatically know you're gonna be playing so many matches in every area as you unlock. That's like a given that you're gonna be
Mhm.
playing so many different matches to progress. And to get to those matches, you have to do an assortment of finding something, solving some sort of puzzle, and it's the same, but a little bit different with those, but even that's kind of the same throughout all the different places. So, yeah, there is some, like, repetitiveness there too, but, yeah, I had to change the difficulty to easy
Mhm.
for me to even enjoy it because I was there's another instance where I, like, rage quit at some point, but, like, that was another thing early on where I was already raging, and that's literally the very first match that you have, so
I I think this game has some balance issues because I started on what medium, I think my maybe normal or whatever it's called. And your first game, like you're saying, I couldn't score a goal. Like I could not figure it out. And I was like, okay, I understand my guy is bad, but this is like the goalie is saving literally everything. So I did drop it to easy as well. And there I found that the goalies were more manageable, but the AI was dreadful. They would just walk slowly with the ball, and soccer games became very much a painful task for me to complete, especially later on in the game where you're like, I'm nearing the end and you just keep throwing wave after wave of matches at me. And the matches aren't short, they're 4 minutes every game.
Yeah.
And 1v1s are 3 minutes every game. And I gotta say, 1v1s, I don't know if you've had this experience, they are so boring because all I do is slide tackle the guy off the ball so I always get it, and then I just shoot until I get enough goals, and then I literally like pull out my phone and I'll just run around the field for 2 minutes because they won't catch me.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's, to kinda go off of your imbalance, message you mentioned. Like, in an actual match, like you said, the keeper is so good, and, like, you
Hmm.
have to constantly just throw shot after shot after shot at them until they finally miss one. They don't explain, like, the shield system that they have.
No.
Like, there's 2 different symbols you'll see, but, like, they don't explain, like, why you see this symbol this time, and there's no rhyme or reason in that regard. But then like you said, 1v1 against like the boss or one of the mini bosses are super easy.
Hmm.
I like wreck shop on them every
Yeah.
time. And those goalies, those keepers seem even easier than in the actual full on match, too. I don't know if it's just because it's just me and one other person on the field, there's less people around,
Hmm.
but those keepers even seemed like the AI for them seemed easier, like easier on you. Like you can make more goals versus being in on the field with like a bunch of other players.
Yeah. I so we can speak about so the premise of this game is you find a magic soccer ball and then you set out to bring soccer back to this world that's had soccer taken away from it by this evil corporation. Um the entire time I was like, is this symbolism for like FIFA being the evil corporation? And like it was very much like I think they're trying to do some like, oh, they only care about like the money aspect and not like the love of the game, which is like what you're bringing back, which I like that. That's fine. Little cute little symbolism. So you go to each of the four different areas, and they have like themes. Like the first one is soccer town. The second one is like a desert. It's like a beach.
Mhm.
And then you have a ninja area. And what's the other one? It's athletics. It's like
Yeah.
track and field and muscles. Um, they each suffer the same problem though, because you basically like, okay, you can bring soccer back, talk to the manager, and then they're going to tell you to talk to like the captain, and the captain's going to be like, recruit my former teammates, and all the teammates are going to say, go find me this item, go do this for me. And those aren't necessarily hard tasks, in my opinion. I did think that there was a lack of direction sometimes where it's like, where do I go?
Yes.
Where am I supposed to find these 10 carrots or whatever you need me to bring you?
Coconuts.
Yeah, coconuts. The game just doesn't really spell anything out for you. I don't know if you felt that way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And one instance was I had to talk to the players of the team that you're trying to recruit. I think this was in the athletics area or whatever. And essentially, they give you a tip or a clue. The other thing is clues too. Like,
Hmm.
I almost needed to have a notepad to write down, like, what the dialogue or what to remember what they tell me to then go and do this fetch quest for them. So I talked to four different individuals. They tell me to go to four other people, and I found for three of them very easily because I remembered where those NPCs were located,
Hmm.
and they were located in other areas that I've of
Yep.
places I've previously been. But this one, I could not remember it. And I had to message Matt, who's on part of Carpool as well. Like, where the heck is this yada yada character? And he had to tell me or remind me that it's like a character from like the very like one of the very first characters I talked to that I
Mhm.
completely forgot about because like I've already finished that area, so it's already outside of my brain by that point. And like I don't remember what this guy's name is. Like like you
The
said, lack of direction.
the map isn't super big, but
No.
it does it could do a better job of maybe a marker here and there to be like, these are the
Yes.
people that currently have quests for you. Or I understand not wanting to specifically tell you where to go, but there are points where you just I'm lost. And the exact part you're talking about, I walked around talking to every NPC, and the one I couldn't find was like you had to swim across the water to,
Oh
and I was
yeah.
like, why would I ever have? I haven't even talked to this person. I didn't know they were up here. Like it was a whole just the game lacks direction sometimes. And then there's other quests where it gives you little clues and it shows you like a drawing, and it's
Yeah.
like, find this on the world map, and it's like little pixels, and I was like, that could be any corner of the world. What? So I did get a little frustrated. I did finish the game. I beat the game yesterday, so I would say it probably took me around 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours, maybe. And a lot of that is the last area takes like 2 hours. Like
Oh
it's a very
gosh.
long area
It's gonna take
actually.
me 4 hours to
Uh,
your two.
um, and even when you get to the final like quest,
Mm.
there it it tricks you because you do something and then the same thing keeps happening over and over again and it restarts you and you're like, what am I doing wrong? And it's because, oh, I have to go talk to this one NPC, even though there's no way I could have possibly known that. You just expect me to be smart enough to be like, well, what's going on here? And I'm like, okay, the game just needs a little more hints. Like the journal isn't very good. It gives you vague descriptions of everything. Um, what did you think of the side content in this game though? Because I have some things to say about the side
Like
content.
some of just like the side quests that
Side
don't
quests, yeah.
relate to the story or help you
Yeah.
progress. I think they were okay. I mean, they were just little cutesy things. Like I tend to explore everywhere and every time I unlocked a new area. That's just me
Fill
being
in the map.
a completionist is I go everywhere and like very early on in the game you learn to slide tackle obviously and
Hmm.
so you can slide tackle certain depending on the area you slide tackle certain items on the ground and you get coins. So I'm slide tackling all over the place everywhere getting every coin I can find because they do help you like purchase and progress your your levels and how well you can play like the players on your team. And so I'm slide tackling all over the place. So having those other like little quests, like I mentioned the coconuts earlier, like you have to
Hmm.
find coconuts for this one guy. And I'll mention it here because I played it on Switch. I finished that quest, but I can't turn it in. It
What?
won't. I go to him, I try to turn it in, I press A, nothing. Nothing happens. No dialogue happens. It just
Oh.
has the continuous green check mark over his head. So I finished that quest, but I can't turn it in. So
Mm.
there is a slight glitch there. But that was the only quest I wasn't able to turn in so far. But yeah, I don't mind the little side stuff. That's just I love side quests in games, and there's not too many to get me distracted. I was actually
Hmm.
surprised at how many things you had to do to play a match to progress further. Like sometimes there's a you can almost fast track the main story.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's not really there, or it's not as you can't really fast track it as much as other games. Like you really do have to do a lot of the
Hmm.
quests to progress, and there may be one or maybe one or two little side things you can do.
Yeah. That each area has basically the same side quests where it's like score in this number of goals,
Yeah.
break this number of targets, and like it increases as you go in. Like this area is gonna have 8, but this area is gonna have 22 because it's further along in the game. I did some of them. I didn't bother to like. I didn't focus on them. They were never I'm never like,
I
oh, I
I
gotta go.
did them all. I did
You
them all.
you did them all.
Every area I accomplished all of those. Yeah, I
Wow.
liked
Okay.
that. I liked being able to practice, like, my shooting 'cause
I
you're as soon as you 'cause you have to, increase your,
mhm,
like,
shot
shot
power.
power to be able to reach certain targets, so I increased that pretty quickly so that I
Yep.
could do those. But yeah, I did all of those. I love those.
Wow, I did some of them here and there. I didn't it wasn't my focus. If I saw them, I would do them, but it was never like I went out looking for them. So, you brought up character stats. So part of the game is you do have your team, which is basically like a party if you want, and they have stats, speed, strength, energy, the usual, the soccer stuff, and you get coins where you can trade in for tokens to increase those stats, or you can do other side quests or find things that'll give you more tokens. Gotta tell you, I increased all of my stats, and then I increased two stats once for one other person, and that is it. I did not increase anyone else's stats. I got grandpa in the back, like no energy, slow. Um, did you bother to like increase? Because I felt like I
Yeah.
just didn't need it.
No, like, I did bother especially as it comes to, like, energy and power for the keeper too, like, the guy that's on your team. Um, because I feel like that probably would help, especially if if somebody passes me by or whatever. But yeah, no, I would I increased every teammate's stats in one way or another wherever it fit. I obviously started with my character first because
Hmm.
it does help to do those quests. Like I said, your shot power has a lot of you need that to progress even further to reach higher places and all that. And so I did me first, the next person, I can't remember his name,
Yeah,
up
yeah.
there, and then maybe my twin would have been my third, and then obviously Gramps in the in the keeper in the back. A very eclectic team, by the
Hmm.
way. I wasn't expecting an elderly person to be on the team, so that just cracked me up at the very beginning.
He's my best defender. He wrecks everyone.
He does more than my twin does in the
Yeah, my
back.
twin is useless. My
Oh,
twin is
yeah. Oh, yeah.
utterly useless.
Completely useless.
I do like the more you play, the more you do feel like, okay, my guy is improving. Like you get new boots that unlock, like, oh, I can do a lob pass now, so I can pass it in the air, which is awesome. Like it's
Mhm.
broken. Like they don't cut out your passes. I just kick it up the field and my guy grabs it, and then I'm like, okay, you get the flaming shot or whatever. And I'm
Yeah.
like, at certain points, I'm like, is this soccer or Mario Strikers?
Oh my
Because
gosh, I didn't even
I
think about that.
all I do is murder everyone off the ball, and then I go to the corner because outside of the foot shots are broken, and you just fire them in over and over again. I did feel like I was improving, which is a good feeling. Like, okay, I'm getting better, like my guy's getting better, but when you start, it's a rough go. I think if you could start at a better place, maybe the normal or medium difficulty wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I'm currently in the I haven't done the full cup yet at the very
Mhm.
last place before you continue on with the last little bit that you're probably talking about took you 2 hours. So I'm stuck in that area right now. But those have been the quickest, like, uh team I've been up against.
Mhm.
Like, I've done a few of those, like, right before that, I had a match, and they were so far the fastest. So it does help, like I said, with the stats and stuff, like, increasing speed too. That's definitely helped a lot, even with the side quests as well. Because the one time that I rage quit so far rage quit the game, I had to stop for the evening, was a track quest.
Mhm.
So I had to beat this person's time on a track, like a running track, and I did it 10 times before I finally beat that area. I was so mad. So mad, and I messaged you, and I was like, "I can't."
It's funny because That one I failed once,
Yeah.
but I did fail in the beach area. There's one so outside of games, you have what's called a controlled shot where you hold on the X. I played on Xbox Series X, so you hold left trigger and then aim with the right joystick and then shoot with the right trigger. Terrible control scheme. This is one of my main like I don't think that's a very good way to do it. And
Mm.
to get the ball, you have to hit Y and it'll make the ball appear. But I found myself constantly like trying to get the ball back to me because it wasn't coming back fast enough, hitting the button, making it go away, which will mess up my whole momentum. But in the beach area where the sharks are coming at you, I kid you not, I
Okay.
spent
Yep.
over 1 hour failing at that until I rage quit so ha my girlfriend was like, "It's just a game. You need to calm down." I was like, "I'm not mad at you or the game. I am mad at, like, why can't I do it? Like, I should be able to do it." And
Uh-huh.
then I took a break and came back immediately, like, second try, did it, and I was like, I don't like this mechanic, especially because it's one they continue to use for more challenges. So I don't know if you've been to the ninja area yet.
That's where I'm stuck.
Are you at is it
The
using
samurai.
yes,
I'm
thank
stuck.
you.
The
Hate
second
it.
one
Hate it so
where there's 2 tiers,
there's a
that's where
third one.
I know. I
There's a
found that out today. Matt told me earlier.
yeah, there's a third one which is
I
the
can't even
same as the
beat the
second
second
one,
one.
just faster. You have to do it faster.
No, it takes me barely 60 seconds, like a minute to do it. I could barely pass the first one, and I cannot pass the second one. I have no idea how I'm gonna do the third one.
I got the second one as the clock hit 0.
Oh my god.
And I was like, okay, this is, but then the third one, I was like, I hate this. This is there are frustrating challenges. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. But I don't think they would be frustrating if the game controlled better. Like if I could actually aim the shots more precisely. Because there are times where I feel like, okay, I'm about to nail this. Like it has the little symbol show a hit. I hit right trigger, and then he kicks it way to the left. I was like, that's not where I'm aiming. What's going on?
Yeah, yeah. I got very frustrated with those targets because
Hmm.
I know what you mean with this with the sharks area because I did it once and failed. I just did other things in the game that I needed to do, came back to it later. I think I even came back to it another day later and was able to do it the second try after taking a breath. But it does get very frustrating because the controls for using to aiming your shot is very weird and is very not great, not the best, definitely not the best.
Hmm.
Um but I think what might help that too, or what I wish the game had, was I mentioned earlier about the difficulty setting being set to easy, but that's only for the matches themselves, like for the cups that you
Yeah.
play, and not necessarily for things like that to help
Hmm.
progress through the story. I think if it was, I set it to easy and it's easy overall, and
Yeah.
some of those are easier too, then I think I would be okay. But because there's not that option, or maybe make it 2 different options, make it an easy for the matches, and then you have another setting for
Mhm.
those types of things. Because otherwise, I'm not that great at games, but you, me, and Matt have all played this game now, and we've all struggled and been actually frustrated with that. I feel like that's telling something, and I feel like there
I
should
agree.
be some type of difficulty help with that, because I mean, it's just so hard.
I
Ha
agree. There should be some sort of like auto aim assist for those section, like
Yeah,
something. This game is not very accessible. Like there are people that probably won't be able to play this game just due to the control variants.
yeah,
Like I just don't see how it'd be possible. Like you have to move your hands in such a way sometimes where I'm like, I don't the track and field thing. I was smashing the A button. My girlfriend's trying to sleep. It's like 8 a.m. And I was like, can we just get through this? All right. Like,
and you have to time those things too
yeah,
for, like, that one as well. So, yeah, the controls overall, specifically for the aiming shot thing,
yeah.
like you said, it's if it's difficult for those that game, like us, uh, then it's obviously gonna be difficult for those that maybe wanna pick this game up because they like soccer, maybe they play
Mhm.
FIFA, but it's not the same as FIFA. It's
No, it
more
isn't.
difficult than FIFA, I would say.
I agree. I play a lot of FIFA, and I would agree with that statement. This is nothing like an actual like soccer.
No.
Like they don't. There's no physics here. All right, like the ball's gonna go wherever it's gonna go, especially in matches sometimes. But before we wrap up, I do want to. You already talked about one glitch. So I played on Xbox Series X. I didn't have any game breaking bugs or anything that stopped me from progressing side quests or otherwise. I did have a lot of visual glitches
Mm,
throughout the game. So in the beach area specifically, there are times where the umbrellas, which are normally folded up, they just look like poles. The purple is just expanded across your screen as you're going down, and then they fold back real quickly. In matches, there are a lot of visual issues. So the ball will be outside of that goalkeeper's area, but you can't touch it for some reason, or
yeah,
your character gets frozen in place randomly when he tries to go for balls that are close to the goalkeeper. There are times where I don't score. It doesn't go in the net and it gives me a goal. Like it'll
yeah,
hit the crossbar or the post and it'll say goal. And I was like, it clearly did not go in. I don't know what you're talking about. So there's nothing that's going to ruin your experience, but there are weird little glitches like that.
yeah, yeah, and that was, with the visuals, the visual glitches like you mentioned, that's kind of what my hold up was on the track bit too. Because it is a very timing thing where there would be like a glitch and I would already be there, even though I thought I was further back and there would be like a little glitch thing and I would
Mhm.
already be right up against the thing I'm supposed to go under. And that's what was frustrating for me for that bit. But yeah, I saw a lot, quite a few of those as well. So I thought it was just a Switch thing. I'm just kind of used to it by now. Like sometimes the Switch port just has those types of things, and so I just
Mhm.
accept it and I just manage the glitches as they come.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about Pokemon, but but yeah, I'm glad. It's nice to know that others on other systems
Yes.
are kind of witnessing something similar. So it's not just me.
No, no, this is happening on the Xbox Series X version as well. So, um, I think we've covered everything that I want to talk about. So I just wanted to ask you one question before we go. Would you recommend this game to people?
I think because I really liked the art style, I liked the music, the story, like as a whole. I mean, it was decent. I mean, I still kind of breeze through some of the dialogue, but don't do it all the time. Sometimes it's important.
Mhm.
But I think overall, I this is a very, very specific recommendation. If you like FIFA, if you play FIFA, but you want something more difficult that also includes a story and like side quests, then I would recommend it. If
Okay.
that makes sense. Because it
Okay.
is more difficult. It's with even being on easy, it's more difficult. So I think if you want something a little different, but it's also soccer related, yes, I think I would recommend it. And I am gonna finish it because I am
Mhm.
genuinely curious to know how the story, like, pans out. I have some theories based on some things that have occurred,
Okay.
but, yeah, I mean, I would overall. I've had fun regardless of
Mhm.
the issues.
I'm pretty similar with you. Despite my frustrations and criticisms, I do think there is a fun experience in
Yeah.
this game. I beat it. Clearly, I enjoyed it enough to play it all the way through. Like, huge soccer fan. I think there is a market for these indie games. I played it on Xbox, where it will be available day one on Game Pass starting, I think, Wednesday. It launches on Game Pass, so release day. So if you're on the Xbox platform and you would like to, if you liked what you've seen from the video clips I've put throughout this video, maybe play it on Game Pass. It doesn't cost you anything there. On other platforms, it is, I think, $20, which I think is reasonable for this type of game. You're going to get a good amount of content and a fun enough experience for $20 that I think I can recommend it. If you aren't into soccer and you don't think that the cute little artsy pixel game will be your jam, don't buy it. But if you are into soccer and looking for something unique, I think there's some fun to be had here for sure.
And at the end of the day, the $20 price tag, if you're unsure, wish list it. I do it all the
Hmm.
time on Switch. I wish list it, wait till it goes like half off, and then buy it, and then it's worth it to me even more so. So there's another recommendation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Lockleth, thank you so much for joining me for this discussion. Do you want to let everyone know where they can find you?
Yes, so you can find me here on YouTube at Lockleth. I have my own channel, but I'm also part of Carpool Gaming, where I am one of the co-hosts of the Nintendo Drive, where we talk about Nintendo and other things as well. But you can find me over there, or you can find me at Twitter at Lockleth TWT. So
Everyone, go check out Lockleth on her personal channel and Carpool Gaming. Friends of the show. If you've somehow missed them, they're on all the time. We collaborate. Even though this is our first time doing content together.
yeah,
Look at that. Well, you can find me at the Muffin Mon on Twitter. It's a 1 to 7 I know 0 and 7 A. Follow us at Save Game Media. Stay up to date with all of our latest. And once again, I gotta say thank you to No More Robots and Panic Barn for providing the code for this review. We do appreciate it. But until next time, we'll see you. Goodbye.